Yeah, no.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
It's not. Everybody.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, please.
Mayor Bailey?
Here.
Mr. Bateman?
Here.
Mr. Blair?
Here.
Mr. Hart?
Here.
Mr. Ori?
Here.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Here.
Mr. Ping?
Here.
Welcome, everyone. With us tonight, we have our Director of Finance, Mark Medler, Assistant City Manager, Corey Wright, Clerk of Council, Misty Clark, City Manager, Dave Kennedy, City Solicitor, Joe Braun, Police Chief, Michael Gabrielson, former council members, Todd Osborne and Pat Mays. So welcome. First on the agenda is open forum, and we have Kaya Bergen.
Oh, she's. See?
Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Kaya Bergen. I am from the Loveland Branch Library. I am the branch manager. I'm here to talk about some little facts about the library system as a whole, because if you are a Hamilton County resident here in Loveland, I know we kind of sit on multi-counties out here, but you will find the Cincinnati and Hamilton County Library on the ballot. We are doing a 1 mil renewal with a $500,000 increase. So the library, one of its main tenets is being a good steward. So the library's been improving all 41 locations over the past 10 years and will continue to do so. So far, they have completed 14 projects and invested about $90 million into the community. In 2019, if you can remember, every single branch had a listening session, including Loveland, and many of those listening sessions, people said they wanted meeting and study rooms. Since then, we've added 42 of these spaces to locations. Loveland itself has 3 study rooms and 1 meeting room. We serve everyone in the county from babies to senior citizens. Last year, we hosted over 5,000 story times, and Loveland has 3 story times. We have a baby, toddler, and preschool story time, and have delivered over 155,000 items to senior facilities. We also had our Customer Appreciation Day 2 weeks ago, October 19th, so I hope many of you could come out to see it. But if you are a Hamilton County resident, our issue number is 20. And just to let you know some background about how the library receives funding, the library's annual budget is funded 57% by the State Library Public Library Fund, or we call it PLF, and 43% comes from tax levies. And also a really cool thing about the library, it is debt-free. So on November 7th, just on your ballot, you'll see the library is issue 20. Thank you.
Thank you, Kaya. Katie Fields.
Hey everyone. My name is Katie Fields, and I have a request around pedestrian safety in downtown Loveland. I live up on Paxton Avenue, about half a mile away, up the very steep hill. I've lived here for about 2 years now, and for the whole 2 years, I've enjoyed what feels like nearly every day of walking to downtown Loveland. First, countless walks with my dog, and now walks with my dog and my 1-year-old baby. It's been incredible. I love it, but one thing that has come up as a constant concern is the ability to cross 48 when you come down that very steep hill. It's a really busy intersection, and, as you would think, cars coming down that hill, they're going pretty fast, gravity being a part of that. It's a right turn only lane, so, people come down and really fly around that corner, and where the crosswalk is, pedestrians are pretty far down, and so it already, makes their visibility limited, let alone not everyone is really looking for pedestrians crossing the street. So, in all those walks of going downtown, I am often waiting through multiple light cycles to get across because I'm making sure no cars are distant in the foreseeable future coming down that hill to risk the safety of me and my family. So I just I met a police officer in a park recently, and he suggested I come and talk to you all about it. I have seen, many instances of the city really showing their care for pedestrian safety and all the crosswalks and the signals that have gone up. So just wanted to put this request out there as some sort of sign or indicator if someone is pushing that, crosswalk button. Just something to help pedestrians get across that road more safely. Thank you.
No, hold on. I think our city manager would like to.
Actually, that topic is very near and dear to council members Ori's. He's brought that up multiple times. We had a study done. If you let me dust it off a little bit there, I believe we need to install another concrete apron to make it legal. But we have done a pedestrian study in that area.
Okay.
I actually have a meeting tomorrow with our city engineer at 8 o'clock on a different topic, so I will get with her. But I know Councilmember Ori has been looking at that intersection for quite a while, and it all has to be coordinated. And but I do believe it's feasible. I just need to dust that out, right, Mr. Ori? Yeah. So if I'm easy to get hold of.
Okay.
If you want to give me just a day to talk to Cindy about it. And I'm sorry, I forget exactly where we put it, but we are doing the 2024 CIP. For some reason, I believe there's a concrete island we need to add to make it legal.
Okay.
As much as the city takes pedestrian safety very serious, we also have to do it we have to do it correctly, or it could reverse. For example, we were up by St. Columban, where we're putting in the ramp that we now need more than ever because of the sidewalks in Loveland, Miamiville. It's more than us putting in a ramp. It was actually Corey that pointed out we also need to make sure we put the pedestrian buttons in. So I just need to check with Cindy, but I'm easy to find.
Okay, yeah, I'll reach out to you for sure.
Yeah, if you could email Dave Kennedy,
Okay.
just look on our website, unless you have a card handy on you.
Yeah.
And then he can get back with you. But you're right, Katie. What's very important to us, the connectivity of the city. So doesn't do us any good if it's not safe. So thank you for coming down and letting us know. We'll take a look at it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, next are minutes of the October 10th, 2023 council meeting. Are there any changes or additions?
Move to approve as written. Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Ori?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Ping?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0.
All right, next we have a public hearing, but Mr. Kennedy, I believe you wish to address council.
Yeah, I'm sorry to do this to you guys again. I did the same thing in May, but we're trying to look out for what's best for the property and the structure. So there's been a few modifications, and so I would like to ask council to table the public hearing and then, of course, table the reading that's scheduled.
Move to table the public hearing.
Table or cancel, Mr. Braun?
You would cancel the public hearing and
Oh,
I
I'm
think
sorry.
table the ordinance.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so we need a motion to cancel the public hearing and table 11A, the ordinance,
Move to cancel the public hearing
and table.
and table the ordinance.
Thank you very much. Is there a second?
I didn't know we were going to do a
Second.
twofer.
We're doing a twofer. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Blair?
Yes, yes.
Mr. Hart? Mr. Ori?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Ping?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
All right, so that takes us to 11B, a second reading of that ordinance. Will you please read that?
Ordinance amending Chapter 1107 definitions and Chapter 1165 general zoning regulations of the codified ordinances of the City of Loveland, Ohio.
All right, is there any further comment on this since the last meeting? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Ori?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Ping?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Ordinance 103 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
All right, could you read the next ordinance, please?
Ordinance amending Section 111.02G of the Loveland Code of Ordinances.
Any further comment? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ori?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Ping?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Ordinance 104 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Mr. Kennedy?
So I think we do this fairly regularly. The city's emergency plan for the entire city is we go through the the Hamilton County disaster mitigation plan. Back in 2000 and was it 9, I believe, all commute back in 2000 through the Federal Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000, all communities or via their county need to have an updated mitigation plan. So the city's plan, and they throw a little bit of sauce onto it because again, for the city, to be able to participate in the National Flood Insurance Program and to be eligible for hazard mitigation money, you have to be in this. But so I typically what we do is we simply Hamilton County has updated the plan. Chief Huber, Deputy Chief John Fry, Deputy Chief Harold Gregory, they're sort of the team. They represent the city largely at these meetings to make sure our plan is up to date. And then we bring the plan back to you all. Then we notify Hamilton County through a copy of the resolution that we've updated it, and that keeps us eligible. I just felt that I would went through the plan a little bit and just sort of word searching by the city of Loveland, and just thought I would include some of the tables where they list some of the specific vulnerabilities for the city. And there's a point in here that I made, and I'm trying to emphasize a little bit that this is a little bit more than simply updating a plan. First of all, it's what LSFD does. It's all many of the things that they do behind the scenes. But if you think about the city, the things that have gone on in the city, the fires in 2017, the tornado that just missed the city in 2022. Chief Huber reminded me of the significant tornado in 1999 that hit the Commerce Park, and to a certain extent, there's always, potential impact for flooding. So these kind of plans are a little bit more than simply, well, we have to adopt it. So there's a link to the plan on LSFD's site. It's a massive plan, so I couldn't obviously include it, but if council wants to read through it, it's the best way to do it is just do a word search by Loveland. You can really see where we come out of it. So outside of that, I'm just presenting the resolution for adoption.
Anybody have any comments or questions? Mr. Ori?
Just a quick question. Mr. Kennedy, we've done this before. Is this like every 5 years?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. About every 5 years they get started. Chief Huber, Deputy Chief Gregory, and Jeff Fry meet with them, sort of update items, talk about things that have happened. And they do a wonderful job, and then we get this email. It was funny. They just announced some FEMA money, and there was a big bold letter. Don't apply if you've not adopted the plan. A little teaser there. But they take it serious.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Bateman?
Thanks. I was just, this is one of these things that, when you have a robust plan like this in place, even when things happen, thinking back to the tornado that hit Goshen recently, when local municipalities are able to act with certainty is so much value to whatever circumstance. My question really is around the emergency preparedness of the general public and just sort of like the promotion of these plans. And so I'm curious if there's any aspect of like Loveland University, for example, that might dive into some of this stuff. And I'm just asking if that's a part of like the outreach to the community to talk about. I know that there's PR, generally speaking, that says, families need to have a plan for emergencies, those kinds of things. But do we do anything like that on a local level as it relates to these emergency preparedness plans?
No, I mean, both the police and the LSFD do presentations. During Loveland U, the Citizens Police Academy obviously kicks it up even a little bit more of a notch. But the threats are real, and they do have a significant impact. I certainly wasn't around in 1999, but Chief Huber, Corey was probably in the area, but Chief Huber told me that was pretty devastating what happened to the Commerce Park. And forgot that was just 2022 and just narrowly missed us. But obviously letting the residents know is a big deal. I mean, obviously, I spent 25 years in a community that flooded on a regular basis. We mailed everyone a card in the mail that they put on their refrigerator to remind them at what levels they can't get out of their house.
Mhm.
So it was a little easier when you're dealing with something that small. But I don't know. I think Misty can take it under advisement with Loveland
Yeah,
Youth.
that's really all I was thinking
Yeah.
is whether it's like part of the Loveland Police Academy or the Loveland U or some aspect. I think from a process and protocol, process engineering standpoint, and certainly communication is rolled up into these plans for sure in actual practice. But I think that to Mr. Ori's point, it's one of these things that we pass on a regular basis to ensure we have this kind of coverage. And I know LSFD has all kinds of extremely comprehensive emergency preparedness plans, but that's something that to a certain extent might be of interest to our residents on some level. And being on the website and having it accessible is one thing, but maybe I don't know, mock scenarios, or just talking about it and publicizing it might be of value. But that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have any comment? All right, we'll read the resolution, please.
Resolution adopting the Hamilton County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Any comment on the resolution? Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Phelps,
Yes.
Mr. Payne,
Yes.
Mayor Bailey,
Yes.
Mr. Bateman,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Mr. Ori.
Yes.
Resolution 105 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Mr. Kennedy?
So we're going to probably make this the final update of the council goals. I was going to touch on a few points, and Corey's going to touch on a few.
No.
Oh, shoot. I'm really sorry.
You.
Did I jump? Oh, I got ahead of myself. I'm sorry. So every year that, I guess I didn't print it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And Mike Colangelo's finance is here. No, I got it right here. I'm sorry. So for a long time back when Corey Schmidt was here, we did an annual presentation on the upcoming CIP. Of course, technology's changed. We put it on that screen right there and used the most basic technology. And then we sort of fell out of it for a while, largely because I was more or less in charge of the budget and got way behind every year and never could bring it. But it is really important that we take the time and schedule a presentation where Cindy comes in and Corey comes in and Chief Gabrielson's here and everyone's here. And rather than try to do it as part of a council meeting, we like to do it beforehand. We got started on the budget this year in June, and actually started mostly on the CIP, the Capital Improvement Program, first. And because that was the best way for us to get a feel for how the new budgeting software would work. And I think it's a great tradition for you all and the public to see not only what projects we're doing in future years, how they were funded, how they were selected, how they lead to other projects, how grant money plays into them, some that we know about, some that we're still waiting to hear about. And you get to see Cindy and Scott and Corey and everyone played a pretty big role in this. And it's a pretty impressive list of projects that we're doing. But it's also a pretty impressive list of projects we had to defer. So, but we're just hoping to do that. My goal would be that on the November 14th meeting, you're also doing a first reading for the budget at the same night that we would do a presentation at 6 p.m. that night. The Finance Commission just met and recommended approval of the budget. We are rounding third. We've got a lot of cleanup to do, but we're getting pretty close. Again, I think the residents are going to be extremely impressed with what they're going to be able to see through the online digital budget book. So it would just be a simple motion setting that.
So we need
meeting.
a motion to schedule a work session to review the 2024 CIP for 6 p.m. on November 14th.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Comment.
Oh, yes, sure.
The city manager's not kidding when he talks about the amount of work that has gone into the new software that the city is rolling out, bought and installed, and it's been very cumbersome, and a lot of work has gone into it. But it's the whole purpose of it is a greater level of transparency at all levels for those who use the budget document on a daily basis, but more importantly, for the city the citizens and the people of Loveland who may have questions because the way the material is laid out and will be able to be presented is nothing short of spectacular in comparison to what it's been in the past. We're fortunate to have Mr. Colangelo here with us tonight, who is one of the architects of all of the building that we do every year as part of, as in his role as part of the Finance Commission, and I refer to him with all due regard as the canary in the coal mine, and he is one of the members of the Finance Commission who makes sure that our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed and our P's and Q's are minded when it comes to finances. And not enough can be said about the work they do and the job they do and the level of commitment that they all have.
Thank you very much. Well said. Anybody else have any comment? All right, call the roll, please.
Mr. Ping,
Yes.
Mayor Bailey,
Yes.
Mr. Bateman,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Mr. Ori,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Mrs. Clark?
After each municipal election, council is required to meet on the first Monday in December. At that meeting, it's organizational, so they will administer the oath of offices to newly elected and re-elected council members and appoint mayor and vice mayor. Council will then meet on December 12th as scheduled as usual. That meets the requirement of council meeting twice a month, so it's up to you if you want to waive your last meeting of the month on December 26th, and if you would, you just need to do that by motion.
All right. So, if anyone is so inclined, yes, Mr. Hart,
I would like to waive the meeting on the 26th.
would you like to
I would
make a
move
motion? to that?
to waive the meeting on the 26th.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Call
Can
the
I-
roll. Ugh.
As I won't be here, can I vote on it anyway?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
Please vote yes.
Is there a back room?
Call the roll, please.
Mayor Bailey,
Yes.
Mr. Bateman,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Mr. Ori,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps,
Yes.
Mr. Ping.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Mr. Kennedy.
Okay, so we're going to call this the final wrap up on the City Council's 2022-2023 goals because they'll be meeting very early in 24 to plan their 24-25 goals. And this is not something that City Council, that City staff goes, oh, well, we'll, just humor council and every once in a while talk about our goals. They are a big factor. What we do, we actually meet shortly. Staff meets shortly after the session where council is, and we start programming them in. Who's taking what, when we're going to meet, what we see, and what is here. And if you can, if you want to look at them online, but this is sort of a compilation of our work on these goals and the items that we bring to council, and what council then has to make decisions on taking action on. So that's the way it works. So I'm just going to touch on a couple. Corey has taken on so many projects. I'll let him chop on it. Under continue efforts to address traffic and parking challenges, I anticipate that the new parking lot will be going out for bid maybe as early as next week or the following week. We're just tweaking a few items. That is a big project. As you know, it's a parking lot, and we have $1,150,000. We've spent none of the grant money on any of the design, any of the historical checks, any of the groundwater, anything. So it's all sitting there. We got extensions on both grants. I think people are, again, the parking lot also, I feel, will help traffic because it will create a whole new access point off of 48. I think everyone's getting an idea of what Harrison is now. How it's going to tie right into the foot of the parking lot, how it's going to create access points into what will be a completely realigned parking area here at City Hall. Mobile station is getting ready to wrap up. I think Corey's worked on that for a long time. That people are starting to realize how that is going to work and how that's going to help traffic. I was taking a picture for the week the other day, and a guy screamed from the car, and usually that's not a good thing when somebody heckles from a car. He said, "That is excellent. I'm glad the city's finally getting that done." I don't know if you even knew who that guy was, just some guy taking a picture. But I really think that we've made some steps in traffic and parking in the downtown. Uh, as far as pursue the goal of pedestrian connectivity within the city, I think we've obviously we completed the Love and Madeira Road, Love and Miamiville Road sidewalk phase one. Obviously, the phase two will be in your CIP presentation on the 14th. Meanwhile, on top, in addition to the three phases of the Level Miamiville Road, the city will be submitting a CDBG grant to put sidewalks on Osage in the Loveland Heights. We are ready to start East Loveland. Will be a three-phase project of working sidewalks all the way up to what will be the Cardinal Conservancy and the Claremont County Park District's development. They are looking at a nature center, and so that is going to be three phases. And while we're doing storm drain, we're also adding sidewalks all the way up Bears Creek, Fifth Street, all the way up to the top, all the way up actually to Children's Meeting House. Also, the city is working on State Route 48, sort of in two directions. Both we're working on with Choice One on an alignment up to our Warren County residents, and we are also actually getting ready to submit for engineering funding to run sidewalks from St. Columban to the other side of Claremont County Parks and the East Loveland. The Cardinal Conservancy just got letters of support from St. Columban, and we'll be getting one from Superintendent Broadwater. And of course, also the great announcement of the grant. Remember that is along with the revitalization of the Love and Madeira Road Business Corridor, there's pedestrian connections to High Ridge, to Valley View, all the way down. That's a big part that I think people sort of forget. So pretty excited about that. I'm going to table the item about the Chestnut because I just tabled the meeting. Consider a goal to have an annual budget of $1.25 million in road paving for a period of 5 years. We had to make the decision this year to drop it from 1.2 to 1 for a year because we are largely we need to fund certain projects that have grant dollars to them that lead to future projects. And with that, we had to make the decision that for 1 year, we would drop it from 1.2 to 1 million. But I will tell you that at the end of 2024, this city council will have spent $5,748,750 on their roads from 2019 through 2024. We used to be around 280 to 310 a year, so that is even dropping it to 1 million this year. That is a major investment in our roads. I wish I could have calculated that to lane miles because Cindy does it like the top of her head. I only have three left. The WMR fee, we're hoping to soon announce that one of the biggest water main projects is getting ready to happen up in the Heights, and this will be, as far as I can see, be the first time in maybe a couple decades that the city's done a major water project and didn't have to take debt because we've been able to secure grant money, and we have the WMR fee. Phase 2 of the Loveland Miamiville Road sidewalks will have a water main process of it. I think we'd probably be stalling on that project because we wouldn't have known how to pay for the water portion of it, and you can't put sidewalks and curbs and gutters over top of the water main and go, well, I hope it doesn't break. So we have the funding through the WMR to fund that part of it. The newsletter, the biennial newsletter, which is a big hit amongst our residents, was just recently delivered. I'm sorry, that was under, that was under. And develop staffing plans to accompany the 2022 financial plan. Chief Gabrielson is in the final home stretch of appointing what will be our 5th lieutenant. From 4 to 5. This is an internal promotion. So this is a great step for that department and something that we would have never been able to do. That position has been empty since Chief Ray became police chief in 2018 or 2019. And when he was the captain, and certainly we couldn't fill it because we were so understaffed. I'm going to turn it over to Corey now.
Thank you, sir. So with regard to the be a leader in garnering support for New Crossing, just an update on that. The project team has received some initial modeling information back from OKI on 2 of 3 potential crossing locations, and we're waiting on modeling for the third. Modeling runs do demonstrate significant reductions in impacts to the existing bridge in varying ways. And, one of the things that we'll be doing is connecting with impacted stakeholders directly in our adjoining partner communities prior to re-engaging the full stakeholder group. So we want to have that buy-in in that regard. So that's very positive. With regard to the Loveland Madera Road bike lanes and revitalization, as you're aware, I was super excited to announce that the city received approximately $4.6 million from OKI to kickstart the first phase of the Loveland Madera Road corridor revitalization project. That'll be a huge project. Runs from basically West Loveland to approximately Valley View Drive. Includes a roundabout at that location, which will provide access to the Chestnut Street property, street lighting, stormwater, landscaping, beautification, access control, really the full gamut. And also on Love Madera Road, and I think Mr. Kennedy alluded to that a little bit, the city's now engaging or waiting on a consultant agreement on the systemic safety application grant, which was a little over $1 million, somewhat over $1 million to advance sort of the stage of Loveland Madera Road from Oasis Kroger out toward the city's corporation line to connect some of our residential and actually redeveloping properties out that way as well. So that as soon as we have a consultant agreement, we'll bring that forward to council. With regard to the Chestnut Street property, the city, most of the remediation work is generally complete. So all the things are off the site. Groundwater injections have occurred. We have some remaining work that we have to do to get through the voluntary action plan closure, no further action letter, a few more quarters of monitoring in that. And we've also had meetings with ODOD and brokerage firms. I'm pleased to announce, and you rarely hear this with a project like that we are significantly under budget from where we originally projected. So we are trying to figure out how to utilize those additional grant funds to further improve the site. And the conversations with ODOD have been productive in that regard. And as I indicated, we've been meeting with brokerage firms to look at remarketing and positioning the site for future development consistent with the city's comprehensive plan. Regarding the fire station project, council got to see rendering of what I would call probably a 75% plan that was done. The plans are now in permitting. We are almost complete in that, and I think there's just a couple of items that have to be addressed in that. And I believe Mr. Kennedy is still working through the USDA funding process.
Actually, the USDA notified the city today that they're going to recommend that project for funding. So that just happened near the end of the day. So USDA will be funding the fire station at an interest rate well under what you call it, prime, or
We'll be saving probably a couple hundred basis points or something.
yeah, it's significant savings.
And then, the other thing we have to do, we have to wrap up a couple of temporary construction easements to accommodate the project. I actually heard back from Pearl, who is a great community partner down the street, and they're going to engage us. And then we have to we're still working on some easement documents with Mr. Braun's office. So everything's really coming along, and it's been exciting to be a part of that project. So,
Thank you both. Any comments or questions? Yes, Mr. Bateman.
Just a great overview. This is appreciated from my side, when we go through this every, for the quarterly updates. And I think when you look at not just the current progress report, but in total, the last 2 years, there's been a lot of different complicated projects that had to be carried out through a lot of different layers and plans and budgets, and so I just think that it's kudos to the staff for the planning job and sticking with it. And I think we've made a lot of progress in a lot of different areas. And when you look at where Loveland is today, you can physically see the lasting effect of coming up with a mutually agreed upon plan and then sticking to that plan. So I think good job, and thanks for the updates.
Any other comment? Yes, Mr.
I
Hart.
would just say to second Mr. Bateman's comments there in terms of being able to physically see a lot of the changes that are happening right now, and I think they're really positive ones. I think the beautification and things like that, and the connectivity we talked about. We talked a ton about connectivity at that goals meeting, which was a direct result of the comprehensive master plan. It was something our community really wanted. The amount of efforts that's been put in by our staff here to not only deliver on those goals, but find alternative funding methods so that as a city we're able to deliver on those promises without hammering the taxpayers. I think that's just outstanding. I mean, the amount of the most recent grant that Mr. Wright's been able to help us through is just, it's just incredible. So, very appreciative. I love where we're going right now. I look forward to sitting in another goals meeting here pretty soon and kind of marking out where we're going to go here in the next couple of years.
Anyone else? I would just say we're far away from where we sat down in, was it February of 2022, and came up with these goals, and some of them seemed very pie in the sky at the time and sort of lofty. Are we going to be able to do this and do all of them? And we take it a little bit for granted because every meeting we're just approving one thing after another that you all are bringing to us, but it is a whole lot of work that you have that all of our staff, but certainly Mr. Kennedy and Mr. Wright are the quarterbacks here keeping this going. And I just kudos for having all of these balls in the air at one time and tackling all these really pretty significant projects. Because as everyone has said, it is pretty obvious when you drive around town. I came down the other day, I'm like, there's construction everywhere at the moment, which is a good thing. It means we're making good on what we promised we would do. So thank you. All right, Mr. Medler.
Thank you, Mayor. For you is the third quarter financial review that we discussed at the Finance Commission meeting last week. So one of the big things that we talked about was kind of updating on our investments, which we've said have been up significantly from the year before. Through 3 quarters, we're 385% ahead of 2022. So we've been making a really big effort to take some of our funds that have been invested in lower interest rate items and kind of move that around a bit. So this time last year, there were 6 CDs that we had that were under 1% interest, and now we have none. And actually, we only have one that's under 2%. So we've done a really good job of moving things around, finding CDs at better rates, kind of reinvesting. We had some local CDs that we were able to leverage with higher rates. So that's been really helpful for us. And the CDs give us interest in our special projects funds. So I know Mr. Wright is very excited about that. We can go out and do some more construction and get things moving along in the city. Income tax, we'll talk about a little bit more when we do that section. But again, that continues to be strong. We're about 6.7% above the year before. We're going to be flirting with that 7 million number, which is something that even a couple of years ago, we talked about 5 being the high water mark, and now we're just blowing right past that. So we're very, very pleased that that's continuing to be strong. Fire and EMS fund, again, continues to be solid thanks to the new levy that was passed in 2022. Our enterprise funds are ahead of pace from the previous year. That's even if we took out the WMR fee, even if that wasn't in there, things would still be ahead of the pace from 2022. So really having a hard time finding anything negative in here. Things are going with our projections and actually going a little bit better. So we're very pleased where we're going heading into 2024.
All right. Does anybody have any comment? Yes, Mr. Hart.
I feel like everything you said was like really, really good. That's awesome to hear. Obviously, when you sit down every day, there's something you're concerned about. There's something you're looking at and going, this is something that maybe we need to keep our eye on. Maybe this is something we want to be aware of. Is there anything out there that you're looking at and going, this is something that in the future we need to be keenly aware of, be aware to make some moves if we need to?
So the enterprise funds are always something you have to keep an eye on. We as I said, we have the WMR fund to keep our water lines in good shape, but we always have to keep an eye on stormwater and sewer that we have to deal with MSD about. If you have big projects coming up in some of those funds that aren't supported by WMR fee, then you have to adjust your strategy for those. So keeping an eye on the enterprise funds, I think, is something we need to do.
Oh, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? I believe we need a motion to accept the third quarter.
So moved.
For a second,
Second.
call the roll, please.
Mr. Bateman,
Yes.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Mr. Ori,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps,
Yes.
Mr. Ping,
Yes.
Mayor Bailey.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Mr. Medler.
So specifically on income tax, as I mentioned before, up 6.7%. And that's even with September coming in a little bit low. I think we only got about $375,000. I say only $375,000 in September. And in October, we've already received over $600,000. So I think we just had an issue with timing. Some things came in right after the line after September closed. So things are strong. And I believe, like I said, we're going to get pretty close to that 7 million number. We always look at our three basic categories: withholdings, business income tax, and individuals. All three categories are up. So we're very encouraged by this trend. Looking into next year, I always say, well, it can't go up 9% every year, and which is true, but we're going to see how this goes.
All right. Any comments or questions on that report? All right. Thank you, Mr. Medler. There are various minutes, committee minutes and reports. Any comments on those? Announcements. Trick or treat is Tuesday, October 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. Tuesday, November 7th is Election Day. That's all we've got. Anybody else have any other? Yes.
Two things. First off, I want to thank the director of the library for coming in, and I cannot emphasize enough the importance of the library levy. One of the pillars on which this entire country was built is free public libraries, and they're worth whatever we pay for them. Secondly, this is for Chief Gabrielson. The Loveland Police Department and others are making Halloween a special day for kids and adults with special needs. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, or can I brag some more? Okay. So residents who live within the city of Loveland and have a loved one living with a disability or special needs can request an officer to visit. The Candy Police will deliver candy or a special treat on October 31st from 5 to 8 p.m. If you'd like to sign up, contact Lieutenant Mike Spock. Provide your loved one's name, address, and your phone number by October 29th. And if you'd like to donate candy, also please contact Lieutenant Spock.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Mr. Ori.
This past Sunday, Councilman David Bednar fell off his roof at his house. He had 5-hour spine surgery, 8 broken ribs, broken pelvis. He was in pretty serious condition when he left his home. So just everybody keep him in your thoughts and prayers.
Thank you for letting
He
us know.
fell off his house?
Fell off the roof.
Fell through.
Cleaning leaves.
Oh, man. All right. Anyone else? All right. I believe we have a motion for executive session.
I'll move for executive session under Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22G8 to consider confidential information related to specific business strategy of an applicant for economic development assistance, which is necessary to protect the interests of the applicant or the possible investment or expenditure of public funds to be made in connection with the economic development project, and Ohio Revised Code 121.22G2 to consider the purchase or sale of property.
Second.
Thank you. Call the roll.
Mr. Blair,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Mr. Ori,
Yes.
Phelps,
Yes.
Mr. Ping,
Yes.
Mayor Bailey,
Yes.
Mr. Bateman.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
So it's a well.
Ready?
All right, need a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Mr. Ori,
Yes.
Phelps,
Yes.
Mr. Ping,
Yes.
Mayor Bailey,
Yes.
Mr. Bateman,
Yes.
Mr. Blair.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.